for a half hour or so of Mythgard, but otherwise I'll catch all of y'all later. Mythgard, for people that haven't seen it, is a fully digital card game that has Android and iOS and Steam support. I believe it has a native OS X client. So, one of the core resource mechanic of this game is really, really well done. Hey, Mythbits. Thanks for the biddies, Kosh. So I'm gonna dive in with this mono red deck to start. So if you've played games like Force of Will or what was the other one? Force of Will or the original WoW TCG, it uses a resource system similar to those in that you can use a resource system similar to those in that you can burn any card in your hand to turn it into a land at any point. So instead of having lands that you explicitly put into your deck, you can turn any regular card into a land. Which is nice because it makes it so there's still a deck building color identity, but you still don't have to like flood and screw and stuff like that. So to get a resource, you'll see I'll take this card and you drag it down here to the bottom, which is called burning it. And you can see it disappears back into my deck, and then I gain 1 total resource and 1 color that I burned. This deck that I'm playing is a monocolor deck, so I don't really have to worry about my colors so much as just my total resources. One of the things that's really, really innovative about this game is the combat system. I feel like the combat system of this game takes the better parts of Hearthstone's combat and then adds a positional element to it. So on each side of the board, players have 7 spots that you can position minions into, and then your minions... Well, apparently our opponent conceded. Let's not. Let's, alright, well, let's try again. So, the ranked ladder's free. Alright. The queue times are super short, so we re-queued instantly, so that's nice. The way combat in this game, this curve's actually much better too. So one of the things you get to do really nicely is in the early game, I get to burn off my more expensive cards, so I don't need a 5-drop till much later. And in the late game, you get to burn your cheap cards. So this game mitigates some of that curve variance that like games like Hearthstone have, where you have your cards at the wrong time. So the way combat works is what I was explaining. Units in this game attack other minions directly, but they also can hit the opponent's face if there's not things in front of them. So you can see here when I mouse over this, it highlights these 3 spaces. So this guy can attack these 3 spaces, and he can't attack over here. Now, the way in which the combat system is similar to Magic in a way is that units... So for example, I'm gonna put this guy over here, and this guy can attack these 3 squares here, but because there's a minion here, he has to attack the minion. So there's positional blocking in this game. It's not like Hearthstone where you just go like face, 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 face. You actually get to block and have interaction in that element too. This game be played optimally for free. The system for acquiring cards in this game is kind of a hybrid mix of what Arena does and what Hearthstone does. So there's like a dusting crafting style system, but they also have wild cards in the game. Yep, there is a mouse over extension on desktop. Yeah, actually one of the things the thing that sold me on playing this game to start is they do something that's really awesome. If you're interested in giving this game a try, when you just create an account, there are community-built decks that are pre-built that you can play without owning any of the cards in them. And I spent probably 5 or 6 hours playing those community built decks before I even put any dollars in and decided I wanted to try and build my own things. So normally minions can't attack the turn they come into play, but this deck that I'm playing is a little bit aggressive, so a lot of my minions have rush. So I'm going to play this wyvern out here. It's a 3-2, so it gets to attack into my opponent's wall here. It gets to eat that. You can see when I mouse over their unit, it puts a skull and crossbones on it, kind of letting me know that this combat is going to kill their unit. It's a nice piece of feedback for when you're trying to get used to or at a glance assess what's going to happen. So we're currently ahead. So this minion comes into play. It is a 3-4 and it stuns the thing across from it, so this can't do anything this turn. So again, this guy doesn't stop these guys from blocking because he's not in the 3 across from them. So these guys get to just keep pounding their face. Yeah, board placement's very important in this game. So again, I don't really need a 1-drop at this point in the game, so I get to go ahead and burn my 1-drop back off because it's not useful. So if my opponent's 3-4 attacks my 3-2, it'll just eat it and survive. So I think I want to play my Wings of Abaddon over here because it's a 4-1 with rush. So this allows me to trade 1 for 1 here, and you can see it put skulls on both of the units because they're both going to trade off here. Yes, you can only burn 1 single card per turn, just like you can only play 1 land in Magic. There's also, the technology behind this game is really well done. There's an event log up here that tells you what happened. Like you can see it says I played this card, and then it says these 2 things fought and killed each other. Little bit covered up, but like the details here are great. There's an in-game deck tracker here, so I can see what cards are left in my deck currently. I can click over and see what cards my opponent has played and burned as well, which is really, really slick. Boop, boop. This minion is great. It's a 2-2 with rush, and whenever it hits my opponent, so breach means hit my opponent directly, not one of their minions, it gets smaller and it draws a card. So you get to go ahead here and smack their face. It gets smaller, I draw a card. And then I think I'm gonna burn the ringmaster. I don't really need him just yet. I've got 2 draw 3s in my hand. One of the things I like about this red deck is it basically never runs out of cards because it has this card to draw 2 and has this to draw 3. So it's like flying. I don't think there's a mechanic similar to flying in this game. Oh, I could have hero powered. Yeah, but I didn't really need to move anything either. So they played a minion. So one of the resources in this game is called energy. And energy, think of it kind of as planeswalker loyalty. So individual units have their own energy pool that they work with. So this thing can use its energy to give a minion Blight 1, which makes it shrink every turn. The tutorial for this game is excellent. So I play this to draw 3. I think I'm actually going to burn... I'm probably not going to burn the extra draw 3. So I'm going to burn this off, because I have a Crimson Pact here for 3, which lets me destroy a minion and lose life equal to its strength. So if I kill this, I'll lose 1. Then I get to continue pounding them down. That is a dragon on an airplane. Or a dragon attacking an airplane. The Vorthos of this game is kind of steampunky. So there's mythical creatures, but there's also some technology stuff. One of the other things here too, if you click on your opponent, you can click view profile. Oh, it's private here, but I can see their current rank. If people don't have it flagged as private, you can like see how big their collection is, which is neat. All right, so this here says the minion in the opposite lane has its strength locked to 0. So in this case, this is locked to 0. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and extract life here. This deals damage to a minion equal to my mana. Although, So this is a 1/5. So if I burn this and go up to 7, I can play my 2-drop over here. And then I can extract this, life this for exactly 5. If our opponent doesn't have a sweeper, we should be pretty close to winning. They're down to 4 here. I'm like, ooh, that's really good. Wonder Drug. Gain 7 life and draw, or gain 8 life and draw 2 cards if you're at 7 or less. Can every color draw cards in this game? Yeah, I think so. The color identities in this game don't seem like they're as strict as they are in Magic, so there's some overlap between what the cards do. You know, I don't think I've seen that one resolve, Nivik. You can see my opponent's playing a 2-color deck, so as they burn cards, they're making yellow and purple stuff. Alright, so because they put the 0-3 here, both of these units are obligated to attack this. But this one can hit their face, and then this one hits their face and draws some cards, which is great. It gets smaller and draws a card. And then this, ooh, that's a rush minion. All right, yep. Thunk. All right, so unless they have a board sweeper here, we're in a very good spot. Because, again, they can't deploy a single unit to block all of these lanes. They need to deploy multiple units. Yes, yeah, there aren't phases in this game, so I can mix and match what order I do things in. So I can attack, then play a card, then attack again, then play a card again. So whatever is optimal for you to be doing. There are not instants in this game. It is purely on your turn. That being said, even without instants, I'd argue the average game of Mythgard is actually more interactive than the average game of Magic because of how their combat system works. So the combat system in this game makes the gameplay incredibly interactive. So I'm going to trade this one here, so that way this guy can attack their face and draw a card. Ooh, that card's sweet. So whenever one of my other minions dies, my opponent takes 1 and I gain 1. So let's drop this into play before I trade this off here. Because then they'll take 1 and I'll gain 1. This will hit their face. If you were watching when we were still playing Magic, which I assume a lot of you were, you might need to refresh to see the extension, because that's to change over for the Magic extension. What if I want to cheese my opponent with combo in this game? There's actually a Reanimator deck that I've been playing that feels pretty good. Have I moved over from Champions to this one? I mean, I play lots of different games, just like I play Magic and Champions or Magic in this. The player base surrounding this game seems to be much larger than Champions. It can often be hard to find a match while playing Champions. Alright, so what we've got set up here is kind of sweet. So this card, the Daring Ringmaster, says my other friendly minions with 4 strength or less are created with a mechanic called Rush. So I'm going to go ahead and play this out here. And then the Sideshow Chimera creates 3 heads when you play it, because it's a Chimera. So I'm going to play this here, and it creates friends on either side. And they all have less than 4 power because they're 3 separate heads. So I get to do this, and then these get to crush into their face. And then I could attack this into their 6/6. I don't think I want to, because like this just kills my thing, and I think I'd prefer my thing not die. So if they want to kill this, basically I want to make them attack it, because their things can only attack 1 thing per turn. I've not played the blue-green one enough to really know, Nivik. The Rush minion is sweet in it, though. Yeah, the Chimera on board with the artwork being 1, 2, 3 is really slick. Yeah, I've liked this mid-range build a lot, Kicker. Got him. So if you're gonna play this game, there's this thumbs up button that appears in the lower right-hand corner. When you finish a game, you should always click the thumbs up button, because if both players click the thumbs up button to say good game afterwards, you both get a bonus. So be a good sport and click the button because you get a bonus. So we go first, and again, I don't want my 7-drop in my opening hand, so I'm going to go ahead and burn this card back into my deck. One of the things I really like is you don't lose the cards when you burn them for a resource. They go back into your deck and you can draw them later. Anything like Ponza and Mythgard? No, nothing that miserable that I've found as of yet. What is the starting health total? So, there's a few finer details about the game I haven't quite gotten into yet. One of them is, every deck that you play has both. It does have a browser version. Yeah, you can play it on basically everything. So, I think I'm gonna use this. So this is something I haven't done yet. So when you're building a deck, in addition to putting cards in your deck, you also pick 2 other things. One is a power that costs 2 resources to use. And my power here gives a minion a friendly, a move action, basically. So it gets to move around. And then you also pick a path, which gives you a different constant effect. So my path kind of rotates through what it does. And my opponent's path gives them bonuses, minions back as more of their minions die. This thing is super annoying. It is a 2/1 that returns to their hand at the end of every turn. I don't really have a good answer to that, so we just want to try and attack around it, basically. What cards do you sideboard out in that deck? The Dissenter's Deliverances are generally what sideboard out. Did the extension die? Weird. Okay, yeah, let me fix that. That's on Twitch. Twitch unloaded the Mythgard extension for some reason. Okay, should be back again. So this is a 3/4 that gets +2 attack after taking damage. So I think I want to Crimson Pact this to destroy it. So that way I can hit them for 1 and draw another card. So I think I'm going to burn Wings of Abaddon here. Nah, I have two bowls. Let's burn a bowl. So I could burn the 2-drop, but next turn I'm going to have 5 resources. So I could play a 3 and a 2. No, this is a full art version of the card. So another one of the incredibly smart things that these people do, they're the devs of this game are very on the ball. It's refreshing. So I qualified to be a partner, which means I get a partner sleeve, and they gave me some booster packs on top of the ones that I bought. And when you use your partner sleeve, it randomly full arts different cards that you have to show off the full art cards. So I'm going to play my bull here, so it blocks their stealth minion. Stealth is similar to morph, but it could be anything. I don't know what this is. This flips up when it attacks. And then I'm going to play my trapeze artist over here to eat their 1/1. Or trade with their 1/1. Oh, I forgot to use my bull. I'm dumb. Bull has an activated ability where it lets you draw a card and then put a card from your hand back into your deck every turn. So should have drawn a card with the bull. Whoa. Does not take retaliatory damage when attacking. So they just ate my bull. That's awkward. Ooh, that's a good draw. All right, so let's start by playing my 3 mana draw 3. Well, lose 3, draw 3. And then let's burn a card to get a 6th resource. And then I'm going to play Firesong Prodigy. And Firesong Prodigy creates a spell when it comes into play. Creates a shock. Ignition deals 2 damage to anything. So let's shock this. Get rid of that one. So it's not quite like Super First Strike because if I'm attacking it, it takes damage. So it just doesn't take damage when it's attacking. All right, so this is my only card that costs more than 6 in my deck. I'm gonna 7-ring Ritual, which makes a 3/1 in every open lane. So 7 3/1s, go. So they gave this Overrun, which is trample, so it let it kill my thing and attack through, which sucks a little bit. So I definitely want to kill this next turn.
The perfect ingredients.
Give a minion +2 defense and regen 1. Okay. All right, so this was a great draw because it lets me slam this into here. And then this is the one that creates a shock. So I get to play this and then make a shock and shock their thing to finish it off. So I have to trade 2 of these for this, but I think that's fine. And then I get to do 6 to the face. I've actually made a small mistake here. So I want to play out this ringmaster over here because it gives all my future minions with 4 power or less rush. But if I would have sequenced this first, this could have gotten rushed. So I missed 2 points of damage because I played this before or after this. So this is super powerful with this 6-drop. So this is a 3/9. So it gets rush from this, but it attacks all 3 lanes across from it. So this is a 3/9 that basically attacks for 9 because it'll hit all 3 things. And if they don't have any minions in those lanes, all 9 goes to the face. That's a 5/5, sure.
Looking good.
And you can see they're spreading out their minions in a way that lets them block optimally. What's teleport? Teleport means when your minion takes their move action, they can go anywhere on the board. So, I think I'm going to put my Unchained over here. And then this can extract life to deal 1 here. And then this is going to deal 6 to my opponent and 3 to their guy. And then this will finish this off. And then I can go face, face, face. They're down to 4. Oh, push the button. I've won a lot with this red deck. This has been the deck I've won the most with out of any of the decks that I've played. It's my favorite kind of deck in card games too. It's got an aggressive slant, but also has a lot of choices in it. There are wrath effects in this game. There's a one-sided pyroclasm in blue, or that deals 2 to everything. There's a few different types of sweepers in the game. All right, depending on how long this game takes, it'll probably be my last one. I have to be offline so I can get Jake off the bus. Way to play RDW. I mean, it's kind of like, I think this deck's more akin to like a big red deck than RDW. Just because like it kind of has staying power into the mid game. Our life totals are different. So one of the things this game does well is the path that you pick gives you a bonus when you're on the draw. So depending on what path you pick, you get different bonuses when you're on the draw in this game. So example here, the person on the draw this game had +2 starting life. Or I had +2 starting life because I was on the draw. I'm gonna bend the wings here. I guess we just trade here. Play my 2-drop, add an ignition to my hand. Yes, yeah, this card uses all your remaining mana up. Yep, costs nothing to try this game out. And if you're someone like me who enjoys Constructed, you can play with the community built decks for $0. In fact, I'd recommend playing with the community built decks for a while to get a feel for the game. There's a pool of like 20 different community built decks that you can get, and which ones you have rotate twice per week. On Mondays and Fridays, I think. So my opponent didn't do anything on their turn 3, which is pretty good for us. So you can see here, when I'm on the offensive, you can, you'll see me spread out my minions, so that way they can't play a single unit and block both of my things. So when you're being proactive in this game, you want to put your stuff out towards the sides. So the aggressive decks in this game, it seems like the 1st, 3rd, and 7th lane are where you typically want to position your minions, because then no single thing from the opponent can block 2. Alright, so they played a 4-cost stealth minion over here. I think I just want to extract like this. I'm pretty sure a deal 4 kills all the 4-cost stealth minions. So let's deal 4. Well, turns out I was wrong. Turns out I was wrong. Alright, we'll trade that off. So got 2 for 1 there, but like not a big deal. That is a 5/6. Yep. Huh. So, what do I want to do here? So their thing is currently fragile, so it takes 1 extra damage when getting attacked. So I guess I can actually attack this and it deals 3. And then I can ignition this and deal 3 more to finish it off. And then we'll play my Panicked Raider down here and attack them and draw another card. And then I don't really need another 1-drop, so I'm going to go ahead and burn that as my resource for the turn. This deck has a few 6s and a 7, so usually I want to get up to 6 or 7 resources. You cannot burn created cards like Ignition. So not only can you not burn created cards like Ignition, but you also can't burn a card you've already burned. So in this case, you can see this card, it lacks the red line in the middle, so I can't burn this card for a second time, because it knows I've already burned this copy. That's a 5/7, so let's kill that. And let's hit you for 1 and draw a card. And then I think I'm going to burn this Daring Trapezist and then draw 3, lose 3. The hand size limit in this game is 10. So you get to hold lots of cards, which is exciting. As a Magic player, do you find yourself taking this game easily, or was there... The power system in this game is very good, I agree. Yeah, I think if you're good at Magic, Magic translates to a lot of different games. Pretty directly. So, this is a 1-drop I don't need anymore. Why do some costs run horizontal and some vertical? I think it has to do with the full art. The full art cards run vertical. Looks to be the case. So I could engage with this in the middle, or I could spread out. I think I'm the aggressor right now, so I'm going to spread out. So I'm going to drop my 4/3 over here, and I'm going to drop my 3/2 over here, and this one has rush, so it can smack them right away. Yes, exactly. So the cost in resources is the number in the circle. The things next to them are what color gems you have to play. Now, the deck that I'm playing is monocolored, so I basically can just cast anything I play. But if I was a two-color deck like my opponent, so you can see when they played Lead Astray here, 2 of their green gems faded out.
Good.
So they gave this thing plus attack and life tap, which is not a good scene for us. So I really don't want them just gaining infinite life. So I'm going to play a pup over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and extract life this and kill it. And then I guess I'm just going to trade here. You don't gain 1 per turn, Bob. You burn a card from your hand to gain a resource. So you have to spend a card to get a resource, but there's not land, so you don't flood or screw. Which is a really, really elegant design, because having resources makes deck building more interesting, because you can do more combinations of things. I don't believe there's a mana destruction mechanic. So they played a card that makes this deal 2 damage to everything across from it at the end of every turn, which is pretty annoying. You can burn 1 card per turn. So if you pick something up out of the graveyard, you can burn it again, assuming you haven't already burned it. So this has rush, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish this off so it doesn't hit my things every turn. And then I'm going to go ahead and burn... Am I going to burn this angel, or I just set up to 7 ring ritual next turn? I think I'm going to burn the angel and play the bull. So the bull has an activated ability that I can use once per turn to draw a card, and then put a card from my hand back in my deck. So I'm going to throw this 1-drop that I don't need back in my deck. They keep the buffs after they die or go back to hand. It doesn't look like it, so this doesn't have the modifier on it anymore. So you don't discard a card. When you burn, it goes back into your deck. So you can burn your powerful cards early and still draw them again later. And in fact, if you look here on my deck tracker, you can see the in-game deck tracker shows what's still in my deck. So when I burn a card, it goes back in. This is a 3-cost stealth minion. Pretty sure this kills most 3-cost stealth minions. Let's start by drawing 3 here and see where we go. Alright, yeah, so let's do this. In-game deck tracker, yep. Sweet, that was a 3-2. Yeah, the people who made this game seem to be very good at technology, which I appreciate. There are multicolored cards, and each multicolored card has a primary color identity associated with it that you see on the card, and that's what it burns for. So, like, I've hit 9 resources in this game, so I probably don't want to play any more, or burn any more cards, because 7 is my most expensive card in this game. In this deck, sorry.
Do you seek wisdom?
There's an active ability to Divination 2, look at the top 2, and put 1 on top. Alright, so I'm going to trade this here, and I think I'm just going to 7-ring ritual and make 7 3/1s. This card is the most powerful top end in my deck. It fills every empty lane I have with a 3/1. You cannot burn the same card more than once. What's the difference between the black and yellow card? So, black and yellow in which aspect? Well, they just made their minion Super Saiyan, basically. It has blast and regen and armor. All right, well, we need to try and kill that one, I think. We might be dead. Look at the drop down on the modifiers. So this says armor 1, so any damage it takes is reduced by 1. Huh? And it heals 3 at the end of every one of their turns. I think with rush minions, we can kill this. Yeah, so wings hits this for 3. And then magmataur deals 3 minus 1 is 2. All right, so, no, oh, I did this wrong. Oh, that's a huge mistake. So magmataur does 3 damage to all the lanes across from him. So if I would have played magmataur here, he would have killed this too. So I basically lost a 3-1 there because I'm stupid. So if I would have played this on this lane, it would have killed both their things instead of just one. So I'm down a thing because I messed up. Yeah, they gained a bunch of life back because one of the modifiers they gave their thing was lifelink. So we were getting close. And like one of the things I like about this deck is while it's aggressively slanted, it has a lot of card draw in it. So we're like not just dead at points like this. So I'm going to trade this here. And this thing keeps coming back, which is annoying. And I think we're going to go trapeze artists here to trade this so I can hit their face for 3. Arena's looking sharp and smooth. The last update was so good. What happens when you run out of cards in your deck? I don't know the answer to that offhand. There are 40 cards in your deck. You start taking damage. Okay, so it's similar to Hearthstone where you start taking damage. Okay. So I think we're ahead at the moment. Although I guess I'm also at 8. So maybe I should have put something in front of here so we don't die by mistake. But like this attacks for 9 and 3. So this is 9, 12, 15, 17 next turn. Yikes. So that takes the minion and turns it into an 0-3 and shuffles it back into my deck. All right, so let's play the bull over here because he lets me draw really quick. So let's start with that. Put the trapeze artist back. I'm gonna drop Duskwing Angel here and then put this over here. How important is card advantage? Well, different decks have different amounts of card advantage. So like some have more and some have less. The interface in this game is really clean.
Do you seek wisdom?
Feels like we're still ahead here, even after a couple of these trades, which is good. So this card has a mechanic called Agile, which allows it to attack blank lanes to hit their face, even if they have a minion in the way. So this guy can sneak past and hit their dome. He also lifelinks, which is good because I'm at 8. Opponent concludes they're dead. I agree they are likely dead. Yeah, Kaijudo or Duel Masters or whatever it was called. All right, as much as I would love to sit and play some more, I do have to get some stuff done and get Jake off the bus on time. So this is a game called Mythgard. It's free to play. It's in the same way all games are free to play. But again, one of the things that's really here to me, so you can see when I open my decks here, there's 2 decks all the way on the left that are feature decks. So I can look at this, and this is a pre-built community deck that I have just for having an account, and I get to play with all of these cards. You can even see I don't own a Celestial Dragon, but I can play this deck card for card on the ladder or wherever else I want that you can play Constructed. This game also has a 2v2 mode, which is sweet. So you can play 2v2 if you want to play with some friends. And these feature decks that you have rotate every Monday and Friday. So you can try a few different things to get a feel for what the different strategies are. Yeah, this game's on Steam and Android and iOS. This has become one of my gym games recently. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back again tomorrow morning. I'll kick off about 7